Hello. I'm low-key dead because I had 3 calls today. So today was the first day of winter retreat for Radiate online, and I had a prayer call with my group today, and I couldn't move back the time, so it kind of collided with the time. So I was a little stressed out trying to get to one call to another. And then I had a call with Phoebe tonight, late night talks, and that was really fun, just to talk with her. But yeah, I'm just really tired after today and doing a whole bunch of calling. But that's pretty much my whole week. I'm just making a lot of calls with people and reading books. So hopefully God will give me the strength to do that and just to point other people back to Christ. And remember why I'm doing this, and it's for Him. So hopefully I'll have strength. But I'm not doing much this week but calling people, so I'll sleep a lot in between calls. Fun times. Yay! Yay! Day 2 of One Life is Hard Radiate Online Winter Retreat. Woo us! Break. And we're going into games! Which I gotta lead, which will be interesting. And I created this whole game section. So we have this, ooh, fancy, made by Rebecca, and then this is what I need. And all these like random things. I think the proudest one, dude, David's smile is great. That one was great. I love this one. With fancy. What else? Nice shocked Pikachu face. I was low-key confused about what I was staring at too. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But it happens. But yeah. Games! How exciting. You.
Oh, praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
She got out of it!
Let the people rejoice.
I know this from BBS. Look at the different generation. I know, it's beautiful. I was like, it's a hymn. Becky and I were like,
The great things He has done.
Lunch date. Dad is not here yet. Oh, maybe I'll redo it. Lunch?
The shop.
Yeah. What a good girlfriend. Oh. She went, oh. Yay. Look, you're perfectly in the frame. That makes me happy. Yay. I don't know what else to say. This is funny.
No,
Okay, keep
the
going.
shop when she gets the lunch, okay?
Oh, that's when Christy. That's when Christy will be at her happiest. Catch me then.
Maybe we should toast up your bread.
Okay. I like Oma.
Honey, there's still people there.
Christy arguing, even though this is only at 9.
No, it's just almost New Year.
Happy
At 9 o'clock. At 9. Yes, at 9.
21. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Hello. Alright, so this is for my last video of 2020, and I thought I probably should do like a recap. And you guys all know my memory. Like, I don't really have that great of a memory, and I tend to forget things a lot. Like, I don't have the greatest memory, but actually 2020, I remember a lot of things about 2020, even though I didn't do much, which is probably why I remember a lot, because I didn't do much. So I remember the things that I did do. But yeah, I thought I would recap just randomly off of the top of my head about like what I did like month by month, because I actually kind of remember what I did kind of vaguely. But I definitely remember the first month of 2020 because I was like, oh, it's 2020. And like the first thing I actually did in 2020 was do Radiate's Youth Winter Retreat, and that was my first time counseling with Kalia, and that was really fun. And it was a really interesting experience. I was sick the whole entire time, and yeah, I pulled an all-nighter watching the teenage young boys play ping pong and like Seven Wonders and Bing for like, I don't know, 8 hours. And they just did that. It was really like, okay. But I was sick. Yeah, so that was my beginning of the year. I was sick most of January. And then I went back for school, so I was in the dorms. Can you believe that? I was in the dorms, and I was fine going into the dorms. I was pretty much recovered, and then I got sick while I was in the dorms, so it got pretty bad, and then I was like dying until February. February is when I actually got a lot better, and in February I didn't really do much other than like celebrate my birthday for the first time on my own without like family besides Kim, and I was very thankful for the church family there for celebrating it with me. And also we did like Valentine's Day, which was really fun to do with the collegiate girls there. That was pretty much it in February, I remember. And then like in March did a lot of stuff, hung out with a lot of people, and I think that's when I was like starting to actually get integrated and used to people at church. And then COVID hit and I was sad. So yeah, I think it was a really good time though, having that time of just interacting with people before I left, or before everything was on hold. But yeah, I think it was fun pre-COVID to be with people, and it's kind of weird to think about having those hangouts again, but hopefully in the future we'll get to do that. April, I didn't really do much April. I think it was just a really sweet time of being with family because quarantine was still new and we still had like a lot of hope about going back to doing normal stuff. But yeah, we all thought COVID would end kind of quick, but it didn't. And by then I already moved out of the dorm, so I was pretty much just doing online school the whole entire time there. May wasn't too exciting either. I basically stayed home, finished school, which was really different and weird, because yeah, I guess you don't really think of much when you're like away from home, but then when you're at home doing school, it's kind of funky. But yeah, I finished the school year so I finished my first year at San Jose State, and then yeah, I think March and May were the 2 months that my cousins were supposed to get married. So my 2 older cousins were gonna get married, and those would have been my first weddings technically, other than I've been to one other wedding for a friend, or a mutual, my mom's friend's daughter, but I haven't really been to any other weddings. So that would have been, those 2 would have been my weddings to attend, but they didn't have it. They just had a small intermediate family gathering, so that was kind of sad not being able to do that. June, I was like pretty much into the quarantine lifestyle and doing all those trends, a lot of baking and whatnot. And that's when I started reading a whole bunch of Christian books for the first time. I think I've only read one Christian book, which is the John Piper book, but ever since then I never really read any Christian books until like June, and then I started getting into it and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was just interesting to have that time of just with God, I think. It was just kind of like the beginning of really making sure that I was being held accountable by other people to do that. And then July, didn't really do much. I was chilling. I binged a lot of TV shows in the summer, so I did that with Kim and Chris a lot. And then Kimberly, Christy, and I also dyed our hair for the first time, which is kind of crazy, but it was temporary. It was like not very obvious, and it was really fun to do as sisters. It was also my first time counseling for Camp Alta. I love Alta, and it was sad that they didn't get to go out to camp this year. But it was really nice just talking with the girls and being able to counsel some of them and just having those talks. I was very thankful just to keep in contact with them. And yeah, actually in July we were supposed to be going to Malaysia and Korea this summer, so it's a bit of a bummer that we didn't get to do it, but hopefully maybe 2021 or maybe 2022, so we'll see. But whatever happens. August, I had a lot of birthday calls, so I got to contact a lot of people and keep up with them, which was really sweet. I was also upset because my parents didn't want me to go back to the apartment, so I did move in a couple stuff in August when school started, but I was not living there yet. And I basically did my Tangled When Will My Life Begin video, I think. I finished it. So I did that throughout all of summer, but I didn't finish it till August, I think. Something like that. And yeah, I start school in August too. September was not very fascinating either. I was at home doing school. That was really rough, to be honest. I think being at home doing school is not my thing, especially online. So that was really rough, and I think just a learning experience how to truly love my family during that time, even if it's circumstances that I necessarily don't desire, but it is God's will and God's plan. But yeah, at the end of September going into October, I actually moved to San Jose because Kim got a job. So that was really cool just to be in San Jose, even if it was for a couple months. So yeah, in October I was fully moved in. I was pretty acclimated to it, and I was like living on my own, living life. Woo! Yeah, it was really nice to be back with the collegians, just because I think that was such a sweet time and an experience in college that I'll never get back. And then I also became a member at Lighthouse Bible Church San Jose, and I was actually attending services outside, and that was a really sweet time just because being away from the church body did hurt a lot. It was sad not being able to go to church even at home. So yeah, it was nice not to just do it online and be away from people. November, it was really good too, just being still there. Had a lot of great freshie trips and good memories with people. And then I came home for Thanksgiving, and then I stayed until my winter break. So my winter break ends in January, end of January-ish. So I'll be here. So yeah, I stayed in San Jose for like 2 months, and then I came back. But it's nice to be back and then getting to see like my actual family again. So I saw my extended family for Thanksgiving. We had an outside lunch together for Thanksgiving. So yeah, I haven't seen them in like a year, which was kind of crazy to think about because usually we see them a couple times a year. And we all live kind of close, so usually we go to each other's houses and whatnot for whatever. So it was nice to be home. And then December, we had like finals and just more sweet time being at home and just really loving my family in such a way. And yeah, Kim was actually with COVID, so it was definitely a different way of thinking of how to serve, and also like on both sides my grandparents are having different problems, so like how do I serve my parents in that way when they're older, and even now as they help their parents. So yeah, just a lot of thoughts and a lot of things happened in 2020. I think overall I've grown in knowing God more intimately. I think that was something that I really treasure and something that I'm really glad I did, just because yeah, I think it's hard to be humble and realize that we don't really truly know God as much as we think we do. So it was definitely a humbling thing to just know more intimately this year, and hoping to do that more as I continue to grow in my faith, and just also during quarantine learning how to truly love my family and humble myself to serve them, not when it's convenient for me, but when they need it. So doing it when it's inconvenient for me, and to truly do it with a heart that really wants to love them and serve them. And I realized how much churches, like how valuable church is, and just the church body, just because I went through church membership and realizing like unity is really big within the church and how God has designed the church. And I thought that was really just something to treasure in my heart, and as I'm a member now, how to keep that unity and purity. And then I think just over quarantine also in 2020, I was revealed a lot about myself, I guess, just like in different ways of like how I have low confidence in God. Like I either hold him too lowly, or I think I can do it myself, and that's my pride. So just being revealed that I should have more confidence in him, because he is just so amazing. He is so graceful, so merciful, so powerful, all knowing and everything, and yet I still have low confidence and turn to myself. So I think that's something I want to work on in 2021. And just I think over this whole entire year we really focused on the gospel, and I think the gospel hit really hard, just because there's just so many people that I know personally who don't believe in God, or are just struggling with their faith, and I think the gospel is just something that really holds, and it's just the center of our faith. And I think that was something that was really precious to me as just someone who's still growing, and reminding like that gospel is never tiring, and it's just so precious. So yeah, I think that was something that I learned. And I guess, yeah, a lot of things happened in 2020. Relationships changed under different circumstances, and just, although I never really like change, like I'm really a sucker for change, like any kind of change stresses me out low-key. But realizing that it is in God's hands, God's plan, and that I really can depend on him and trust on him, is just something I'm very thankful about. And just seeing how God does truly care about his church and his people and his design, and who leads, I think was something that I really learned. And I'm thankful that God has shown. But just overall, God really has sustained me this year and allowed me to really just depend on him more this year. And I'm just really thankful for this year and just the people in my life who were supporting me and keeping me accountable and even just pointing me back to God. So I'm excited for 2021 to see what happens. A lot has happened in 2020, even though nothing really seemed to happen. It was a pretty chill year, but yeah, I was just very thankful for this time of growth that God has given me, and that he really revealed things to me and worked in my life. So yeah, all glory to the God, all glory to God. And I guess I'll see you in 2021, y'all. Yay.